everybody. Welcome to another Global Travel Update. Peter Greenberg here with you on the 16th of April, 2024. Coming to you from a very unusual and interesting place. It's not the first time I've been here. It's the Homestead in Hot Springs, Virginia, a hotel that's older than America itself, about 258 years old. Amazing place on 2,400 acres. Of course, Thomas Jefferson made this place famous at one point. Even George Washington was reported to have been here, but 24 U.S. presidents have been here. It's where Jackie Kennedy learned how to play golf. It's where the Duke of Windsor tried to sneak out on his bill, but he got caught. But an amazing place that's been lovingly restored. They just put about $150 million into a complete restoration as one of the historic hotels of America, which means they could not do anything to change the design, to change the original materials. So you had different masons coming in, different iron workers coming in, not to add new stuff, but to basically strengthen and recreate the old stuff. And it's just phenomenal. If you're someone like me who loves light, high ceilings, wide hallways, beautiful promenades, long front porches, you know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing place, and we're happy to be here. We're happy that you're here. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get started with what happened yesterday with American Airlines pilots and their union sending out a letter of concern, some might even say warning, about safety issues that they want to bring to the forefront at American Airlines. And I want to be clear, what they're not saying is that American Airlines is unsafe. What they are saying is if they're not going to change their patterns, change their process, and change their routines, you know what? They could be in trouble. Remember, the absence of an accident does not mean the presence of safety. And what are the pilots complaining about? Well, you may have seen similar situations at United or Southwest where an engine cowling falls off or a tire falls off a United plane or oil's leaking or parts of a plane disappear. These are not Boeing issues. Boeing's got their own issues, trust me, and there'll be hearings at the U.S. Senate tomorrow on that. I'll be covering that. No, this is not Boeing. This is airline maintenance, airline supervision, and airline processes, right? I mean, some of us actually think, mistakenly, that airlines get full maintenance every day. They don't. They get overnight maintenance in some cases. They get cursory maintenance and walk-arounds by pilots. Now, let's face it, airplanes are usually wonderfully built, wonderfully efficient, wonderfully engineered, but lately there have been some problems. And what the problems are going stemming back to, believe it or not, is Boeing and the FAA again. So let me give you a little walkthrough about what we're talking about. And this comes directly to me from American Airlines pilots themselves. There's something for every aircraft that flies today. It's a requirement. It's called the MEL. That stands for Minimum Equipment List, the MEL. Now, in theory, what the MEL means is that if there's any item on that MEL, on any item on that minimum equipment list that's not operating, in theory, the plane can't fly without it, right? So obviously, if an engine's not working, the plane doesn't fly. That's on the list. Could be something to do with hydraulics or the landing gear, electronics, avionics. I mean, there's a whole list of things that could be and usually are on the MEL. Here's the problem. In recent years, the FAA has allowed the airlines to modify that MEL so that certain items that are not considered your absolute mission critical can be deferred. And then they're given a deadline. All right, so you can still fly with this not working, but you got to fix it within 10 days. Well, what the pilots are upset about is the airlines are so short of planes now, right? Going back to Boeing and the FAA, right? Boeing's not making their deliveries, that the airlines are basically pushing metal. They're trying to keep as many planes in the sky as they can because they don't have enough planes. And in the process, those deferred maintenance items are piling up until the 8th, 9th, or 10th day. Now, does that mean the plane is unsafe? No. But if you're a percentage player, I'll give you a car example. Your tire air pressure warning sign comes on in your car, and common sense would dictate pull over and get it inflated. Well, maybe it's not critical to you because you've got a spare tire. So you decide, you know what? I'll drive another 300 miles. I'll drive another 500 miles, and then I'll fix it. Well, sounds okay. But if you have a blowout at 70 miles an hour, then what? That's what the pilots are complaining about. But there's more to that because not every plane is getting the required overnight maintenance that it really needs because of all these deferred items that just keep piling up. I was on a flight recently. I talked about it on this update, going from Lima, Peru to Miami, where they were trying to do a replacement tire, and the guy doing the replacement work in Lima screwed it up. And in the process, broke the cooling fan for the brakes. Now, that was on the minimum equipment list, but it wasn't an essential item, so they could actually fly with it not working, and they deferred the maintenance. Of course, they did defer the maintenance, and then the brakes locked right on the runway, and we couldn't take off anyway. So what the airline pilots are asking for, and these are just the American Airlines pilots, but trust me, United and Delta pilots will be right behind them because it's a no-brainer safety issue. They're asking to be part of a quality assurance program. I mean, intimately involved in the risk assessment programs at the airlines. Here's something else that may not make much of a difference unless you fly a lot and you know what you're talking about. Most people don't know what C&D maintenance is, but this is major heavy maintenance that every plane goes through after a certain number of cycles. The cycle is a takeoff and a landing. It's required. And a C and a D check is what it's called, is when the plane is literally stripped apart and rebuilt again. I mean, from the ground up, right? It's a big deal. And most airplanes may only have it twice in their lifetime, mostly only once. But even so, when a plane comes out of maintenance, the tradition is that pilots will then take it up in the air and put it through its paces before they ever return it to service. American Airlines apparently is not doing that now. The plane is coming out of heavy maintenance, and then it's ferried to where it needs to go and then start service. Now, the airline could argue, and they do argue, that this plane is in great shape because they put it in great shape, but wouldn't you still want to test it? So what the airline pilots are asking for now is a seat at the table in a very real and hands-on way, and I think they deserve it. They're the ones who have to fly the plane. So we're going to stay on top of that, and guaranteed you're going to see that trickle down through every single airline operator because there's no room for margin or error here. You just got to do it. And especially since now everybody's hyper vigilant with their cell phone cameras, the optics aren't good. Now, am I flying tomorrow? Yes. Am I flying again Sunday? Yes. Am I flying again Tuesday? Yes. Am I flying 2 to 3 days a week? Yes. Am I concerned or nervous? No. But I share the concerns of the airline pilots, and I'm certainly sharing the concerns that I've had all along about the culture of safety and the inspection work being done by the FAA. Because at the end of the day, folks, which will be part of the Senate hearings tomorrow, it all goes back to not just Boeing, although their chief executives will be testifying tomorrow, but it also goes back to the relationship they have with the FAA, which needs to change. So there you have that. Now, let's say hi to folks. Camilla's saying hi from Tucson. We got, Jim and Harriet, they're always numero uno here from Richmond, Virginia. Well, we're in Virginia. Patrick's saying greetings from Coachella. So were you there with Taylor and Travis? Michelle says, what do you think of the safety lapse allegations against American? Well, I was just talking about it. It's not about safety lapse. It's about the need for increased inspections and the need for increased oversight and involving the people who fly the planes in that process. Okay. Oh, and greetings from Roanoke. That's where we landed to be able to drive here. It's about a 90-mile trip, about an hour and a half. Okay. Happy from, Robin's in Williamsburg. Evelyn's saying hi from Denver. Colleen's in San Francisco. Next stop, Paris. You've been there recently. Any tips for restaurant recommendations? Actually, I do. Depends on what kind of food and what neighborhood you want. But if you want traditional, not far from the Musée d'Orsay, there's a traditional French brasserie, Parisian brasserie. It's been there 100 years The waiters are a little arrogant and snarly, but you know what? I love them anyway. You go to Brasserie Lipp, Lipp. And then my new favorite restaurant in Paris is not far from the Champs-Élysées. In fact, it's off at a General Lanrezac, Rue General Lanrezac. It's an Asian-French fusion restaurant with a great Asian chef called Le Hide, Hide. Tough to get a reservation, not because it's a shishi restaurant, because they only have about 8 tables in the restaurant. So get your hotel concierge or call them directly and beg for a seat, because you will not be among other American tourists. It's where the locals hang out, and you'll love it. Every dish on that menu is phenomenal. I've been going for about 7 years. Hello from Bellingham, says Sue. Hello from Salem, Virginia. A lot of Virginia folks today. Sandy saying hi from Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, speaking of Charlotte, North Carolina, I want to raise a question for you guys. And the minute I raise it, I know I'm going to get some affirmation there. Let me set the scene for you. You're checking 2 bags, or maybe you're checking 1 bag. And you go to the airport, and they put it on the scale, and it weighs 51 or 52 pounds. Whoops, you're overweight. Now, you either have to remove 2 pounds or pay a hefty fee over and above what you paid to check the bag. But here's the question. When you go to the supermarket and you buy meat or produce, they weigh it. Who does the inspections of the scales? The city. They do it a lot, right? Weights and measures. Who's inspecting the scales at the airport, which are getting used for heavy weights every 30 seconds or so? Recently in Charlotte, the North Carolina's version of Weights and Measures did a surprise inspection at the airport, and guess what? Every scale at the airport that they looked at, I'm not sure it was every scale at the airport, but every one they looked at, though, was miscalibrated. And guess who pays the penalty? You do. And there's no appeals court there. So invest about $10, get one of those little portable scales that'll fit on the handle of your bag, right? It's manual, it's, analog, and you weigh it, right? Could be digital too. And make sure you know exactly where you are under 50 pounds, but do yourself another favor. The scale itself only weighs about a half a pound. Bring that to the airport with you to show them that you did your homework. All right. We need more inspections of the scales. All right. John saying, greetings from the Oceania, traveling to Portimao, Portugal from Sevilla. All right. He's doing the Algarve. My favorite place in the Algarve, John, if you get near it, is the Portuguese fishing community of Lagos. Very cool place. Portimao is a little too crazy. Faro, where the airport is too messy. Albufeira, but Lagos, great. Okay. Joan is saying, greeting from the Bay Area. Just got home from Austin, San Marcos, and Cedar Park, Texas for the eclipse. Okay. Hope you didn't hurt your eyes. All right. Laura says, traveling to Greece on May 1st. Safe? Yeah. And better still, not that crowded yet. It will be. They still haven't figured out their over-tourism problem, but May, you'll be okay. Greetings from Bhutan, one of the coolest airports in the world. It's like landing in a salad bowl. And by the way, they have a rule in Bhutan that unless they approve you as a pilot to land there, which means you have to train separately, you're not allowed to land there. In fact, if you want to fly your own plane in, or another airline wants to come in, they have to have a pilot from Bhutan in the jump seat. That's how crazy. It's like corkscrewing into a salad bowl. What an approach. Katrina saying hi from Alabama. Okay. Silverdale, Washington, says Pamela. Vicky's saying hi from Delhi, New York. Laura saying hi from San Juan Capistrano. Are the Swallows back? Juan is saying hello from Raleigh. Drew is saying Santa Clara. I was just in Santa Clara. And Peter saying, I know Peter, my buddy Peter, who drove me all over Rwanda with the president. Hello, Peter. Nice to see you again. Terry saying hello from California, historic Route 66. Will I be at IPW in Los Angeles? As a matter of fact, we'll be broadcasting from IPW in Los Angeles, so hope to see you there. Mike is saying these cheap scales aren't accurate either. Who calibrates them? I would trust a digital $10 scale that I buy for $10 more than I trust the scales at the airport. And I bet you if we ever did a test, our scales would be more accurate. Okay, another hello from Raleigh. John says we're going to Lagos tomorrow on an excursion. Oh, you'll love it. Okay, we love it. Okay, Sandy's saying, thoughts on Vietnam in March? We want to tour the whole country and hoping with its microclimates, it won't be raining in the north. Okay, here's the deal. It's going to be raining. But the beautiful thing about rain in Vietnam, most of the time it lasts for about 45 minutes. You'll be fine. For all of us who grew up watching the Vietnam War on television, for most of us it wasn't in color. For most of us it was in black and white. And we thought Vietnam was a depressing, death trap. And boy, we understand propaganda. What a beautiful country. You're gonna love it. And if you get to Hanoi, which I hope you will, the French influence there is still there. Wide tree-lined streets, bistros, amazing. And of course, Saigon. Yes, I still call it Saigon. That's a party town. Nonstop energy. But Hanoi, it's the difference between, let's say, Tokyo and Kyoto. Hanoi is the Kyoto of Vietnam. It's so peaceful. We love it. Okay. Oh, Mike wants me to show my money on the scales. Okay. As long as I get to weight the scales, get it? All right. Hello from Leone, New Jersey, says Betsy. Melanie is saying, okay, back in Miami from the MRO show in Chicago, just in time before the pro-Palestinian protesters shut down the motorway going to O'Hare, as they did yesterday in San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay. And Michelle says, Peter, please stay any recommended places, restaurants, slowly and spell names. Okay. The two restaurants I gave you in Paris, Brasserie Lipp, L-I-P-P, and Lahide, H-I-D-E. Was that slow enough? Okay. Oh, one more word, E-N-J-O-Y, and you will. All right. A couple of other things I want to mention. We're worried right now about surge pricing, right? Surge pricing in an Uber, congestion pricing now they're trying to get it enacted in New York, where if you go below 60th Street, it'll be $15 a pop. They've already done it in London. Now, it's some people call it surge pricing. Other people might call it dynamic pricing. The bottom line is it sucks. And they're trying to apply it to everything, even restaurants. Wendy's actually tried to float out surge pricing for burgers. Like they would charge you more to eat at 6 p.m. than at 2 p.m. Well, duh, that's when people eat. Every pun intended, that idea did not fly. Wendy's had to walk it back. Now let's hope Uber and JetBlue, which is trying to do surge pricing on checked bags, will follow suit. Remember, folks, you vote with your wallets. Let everybody know that this is not a good idea. Surge pricing for checked bags involves no more labor and no more expense. It's just another opportunity for an airline to generate revenue. It's like revenue without portfolio. Stop it. Okay, let's keep going. All right, now, a couple of other things I want to share with you. We've got lots of shows coming up on PBS, Amazon, and Apple TV. One that's coming up in just a few months, but I want to put it on your radar, is the next in our Hidden series. We've done Hidden Ireland and Hidden Saudi Arabia and Hidden Aegean and Hidden Turkey and Hidden Poland. And we're doing many, many more. Coming up, we'll be doing Hidden Uganda, Hidden Mississippi, Hidden Louisiana, Hidden Alabama. We'll be doing many more as well in the U.S. The concept of the show, no gift shop, no tour bus, no brochure, no guidebook, no TripAdvisor logos. Don't get me started on TripAdvisor. We're going to take you to the most amazing experiences in these destinations that nobody knows about, but that are totally accessible to you. So just to get us started, here's the trailer for the show that's going to be airing in about maybe 2 months, but I want to get on your radar, Hidden Belize.
Most people think they know it for its gorgeous beaches, great diving, and a vast seacoast. But most people don't know it. So get ready.
Are you scared?
Yes. To feel the rhythm, then get up close and personal in the jungle. And then a deep dive into a history of mythical proportions. And yeah, you're gonna get wet too. I'm Peter Greenberg, and welcome to Hidden Belize.
Also be on, in addition to PBS stations, it'll then be on Amazon and Apple TV and probably even on YouTube. We'll let you know as we get closer to the air date. Just want to let you know about that. And let me continue to scroll for a second. All right. Oh, Mary Louise is saying hello from Tempe. Okay. And Ingrid says, so sick of greedy companies. Me too. If I ever were going to run an airline, by the way, it's a dream. But if I ever did, I have the perfect name for the airline, and I have a perfect name for their marketing campaign. Okay, here's the name of the airline. Plan B, right? Plan A never works. And you know what our marketing campaign is? Because you'll know exactly where you stand. We're not going to have a bad attitude. We're just going to get really real about the reason why you're flying in the first place, right? You're not flying for the rich Corinthian leather, the food, the mileage that you're never going to be able to redeem. No, you're flying to go from point A to point B and not die. So you know the name of the airline now, right? Plan B. Here's our actual marketing strategy and campaign. Sit down, shut up, we're going. Da-da. Okay, sorry about that. All right, Harry and Jim want to know, do you get the feeling that CFOs are running the airplanes these days? I not only have the feeling, I have the conviction they're running it, Jim. Look at the beginning of commercial aviation, when you had the Juan Tripps and later the Robert Crandalls and the Gordon Bethunes and the real giants in our industry that basically grew the airlines in the best way. They were entrepreneurial, they were customer friendly, they had a spirit, and that's been replaced we've gone from a CEO mentality to a CFO mentality. Why? Because these publicly held airlines need to basically satisfy Wall Street analysts and make their quarterly numbers. And the CFOs are no longer worried about what something's worth. They're worried about what it costs. And if you're so obsessed with what something costs, you lose your value. And that's what we're seeing across the board. Every once in a while, we'll see an entrepreneurial CEO of an airline who really cares. And you know what? And they do a good job for a while. And then in order to do a better job, they got to grow. And in order to go growing, they got to go public. And the minute they go public, here come the analysts. And now it's the quarterly numbers, and they got to cut costs. And that's where we are today. They're not only cutting costs, they're trying to generate revenue every way they can. That's what your problem is, Ingrid, and that's my problem too. And Jim, now you understand my feeling about CFO mentality. And Ingrid says, you like some Corinthian leather? Then let's get Ricardo Montalban exhumed from the grave, right? With the rich Corinthian leather. Cordoba, for the man who knows who I am. Okay. How many people here remember Ricardo Montalban? Okay. All right, let's keep going here. Oh. All right. Hello. Okay, hello again. Hello again. Hello, Michelle, Melanie. Okay, now let's go to some of your questions that you came in during the week. Sue wants to know, when should I get airfare for Barbados for September 4th? Well, isn't that Labor Day? Can you do it September 5th? I mean, you don't ever want to go on a return day. So see if you can move it back a day and then wait. We're not even in May yet. Remember my 54-day rule? So you want to do something around June 20th. You'll be okay. Matthew says, planning to spend a week in London, then visit Amsterdam, Paris, Vienna, and Budapest. Is rail the suggested mode of travel between the cities? Yes. What you want to do is buy your rail pass, but you need to buy it in the U.S. in conjunction with your round trip ticket. But here's how I buy your ticket. Make it an open jaw ticket. So go the U.S. to London. That's your first leg. Then get on the train. Take the Eurostar to Europe. Now you can go to Paris, you can go to Brussels, you can go to Amsterdam, anywhere you want to go, right? Within that system. And the Eurail Pass now, I'm probably low on this. It applies to about 33 separate train systems. It's great. And you can buy it in 1 week, 2 week, or 1 month increments. You don't have to go first class. It's overrated. Go second class. And if you plan it right, you can do some sleeper trains and not have to pay for hotels if you're worried about a budget. But then if you want to come home, then figure out the city you want to fly home from so that your airline ticket's going to read US, London, train all the way through Europe and then X back to the US. And if you do that, you won't be paying that draconian UK users tax to fly out of a UK airport. Okay. All right. Larry says, can I recommend an affordable hotel in Paris? Well, this is the summer of the Olympics. They don't exist. What I would do is, remember I just mentioned the train system? Go out to the Loire Valley, right? Or any of the cities that are an hour and a half outside of Paris, using your train system again, and then come into Paris when you want to come into Paris. You'll find more affordable hotels, but that doesn't matter when it comes to the Olympics, but that just matters now. Okay, Christine says, I have a near 18-hour flight and a 15-hour transit and advice on how to pass the time. Currently dreading it because I've never traveled for that long or had a transit of this length. How do you keep yourself entertained for that long? Well, you forgot to tell me two very important things, Christine. Where are you flying to and where are you flying from? And then what's your next connecting flight? Give me that information and I can give you some hopefully reasonable information. Val says, my husband and I are planning our honeymoon. You mean your fiance and you are planning your honeymoon. And the first part of it, we are planning on renting a car from Paris and driving to Marseille. We will be there the last week of May. We are hoping to take our time on the drive, breaking it up about 3 hours at a time and staying in towns along the way. I love it. And you're also going when? In May, before it gets crazy because of the Olympics. So you're doing the right thing. Now, remember this, though. It's insurance you got to worry about, right? And it's also drop-off charges. Right now, rental car companies in Europe operate like medieval fiefdoms. So if you're going to make that rental car reservation in the U.S., whatever you get that voucher for it, you need to call that location in Paris or wherever you're picking the car up from and have a conversation with them so you find out what they're going to charge you per mile, or is it unlimited mileage? If they're going to charge you for a second driver, most of them will. If they're going to charge you for a drop-off charge, because I don't think you're going to be driving it back to Paris, are you? So be careful about that. All right. Matt says, I've seen a lot of discussion about Delta versus American first class for domestic, but nothing for international. Going to Greece, what do you think? Well, here's the deal. Do you know what Delta and United fly most of the time to Europe? Aging 767s. They were never designed for really great lie flat first class or business class seats. They're pretty narrow. And United's got the same problem that Delta does. American is also flying some of those planes, but American's shifting over more now to 787s and the old 777s. Wow. What airport are you flying from? Matt, that would be helpful to tell me. Jen says, I'm going to Oahu as a solo traveler. What do you recommend for things to do there? Well, first of all, you haven't told me what you want to do. Give me an idea. I mean, what's your physical activity limit? Do you want to shop? Or you just want to veg on the beach? Do you want to take surfing lessons? Or do you want to go over to the North Shore and watch kamikaze surfers, right? Do you want to go out to Pearl Harbor if you've never done it? Do you want to go over to the volcano, right? Diamond Head. And there's a different way to do it. I need more information and then I can help you out. Okay, Tam says, oh wait, I got one more first. Erica says, I'm going to Croatia for the first time in August. What is the best way to go from Dubrovnik to Split? Well, that's an interesting question. First of all, you're going at the most crowded time of the year. Say 3 words after me, Game of Thrones. Be careful. If I were you, I mean, you could fly, but Air Croatia has a terrible on-time performance record. I know this from firsthand experience. I'm going to have to get back to you on that because the distances are not that great and there might be a ferry. So ask me this next week and I'll have an answer for you. Okay, Tam says, can I bring packaged Chinese herbal medicines home to the U.S. from Canada? What are the medicine? In what form are the medicines? Is it liquid medicine? Is it gels? Is it pills? Whatever it is, assuming that it's not liquid, then you need to get a letter from your physician giving them, I'm assuming in this case there's no brand name, so it's a generic name and the reason why you need to take it, just in case somebody wants to know what you're doing with those, whatever that medicine form it's in. Okay? That's what I would suggest. Let me scroll down again here. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay, Michelle wants to know, please explain your 54-day rule. Is it applicable for domestic and international flights? Most of the time it is. But the 54-day rule is this. Airlines use what they would think are sophisticated algorithms to project demand and then set their prices. Now, all those got thrown out during the pandemic for all the obvious reasons, but now they're back. So they're looking year over year, month over month, week over week, to see who flew from New York to Athens last April 16th, who flew it 2 years ago, and who's going to fly it today, or let's project out May 16th. And that's how they set their prices. But when are they setting the prices? 6 months to a year out, and then they adjust. And when they get to about a 54-day out, and the load factors don't hold up, those prices will come down. If the load factors have already held up and they're going higher, the prices go up. So that 54 day is almost your inflection point for making a reasonable fare. After that, if the supply and demand is hugely high on demand, then you can expect fares to go up anywhere from 2 to 4% a day until the flight leaves. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to that rule. If you already know about the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, or if there's a World Cup match, or you have the Olympics in Paris, but generally the 54-day rule works. And there you have that. Right, let's go to the photo of the week. You'll like this one. You see it? All right. Anybody want to tell me where it is? Well, first, let's congratulate Kristen Campbell. Okay, it's the Isle of Mull. Anybody know where that is? I do. Look at that light. Look at those colors. It's Scotland, folks. And the hillsides were alluring as we made our way to catch another ferry to the Isle of Iona. Okay. I love Scotland. I have an admission to make. I actually believe I lived there in a previous life, and I'm not a big fan of reincarnation, but I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. By the way, my favorite place, well, not my favorite place, is the Isle of Islay, Islay, but it's pronounced Isla, and it's where they make some of the best single malt, darkest, smokiest, peatiest whiskey in the world. It's amazing. My other place is Ariseg. Check it out. How many people here saw the movie Local Hero? Then you'll understand why I love Scotland. And the music in that movie was even great too, because it was Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits. Go back and see Local Hero. It's worth everything and all your time. Burt Lancaster's last movie, but just brilliant, special. All right, so there's our winner. If you think you've got a photograph that's as good as Kristen's and you want to be photo of the week, you know what to do. Just send it into photo contest at petergreenberg.com. And if we like it, it goes right up there next to Kristen, who survived Mull and that beautiful scene. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, a couple of other notes here I want to share with you. I showed you Hidden Beliefs before, but guess what's premiering this weekend? Of course, our radio show, Eye on Travel, our CBS radio show. It's coming from the legendary, or soon to be legendary, Fontainebleau Hotel, the new one in Las Vegas. So check your local listings. It's on from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. So we live stream it starting at that time, about 10:05 a.m. if you can't find it in your local market. And then, of course, what's premiering very soon? Our next edition, our next season 9 of The Travel Detective. Take a look.
On this season of The Travel Detective, we'll navigate a new course through uncharted waters in Antarctica, explore the rebirth happening right now in Detroit, test drive some military hardware in an unusual museum near Seattle, and discover the hidden gems of Lexington, Kentucky. Plus, we'll reveal the secrets of the one museum in America you can't visit, but we did. So join me, Peter Greenberg, each week on The Travel Detective.
Again, check your local listings. It'll also be available for streaming on Amazon and Apple TV Plus. And of course, remember the hearings start tomorrow in the U.S. Senate on Boeing. Should be an interesting show if the Senate decides they need to do something. Remember, there's a double-edged sword here. Boeing is the largest export in America as a company. They are responsible for a huge hit on the GDP. And it's not just their contracts with airlines, it's their contracts with the US government and the military. So how do you regulate a company that's also responsible for our safety here and abroad? So it'll be an interesting day or days on the floor of the Senate. I'll be covering that. I'll let you know about that when we reconvene next week. I'm flying out of here tomorrow from Roanoke, but I also want to tell you the folks here at the Homestead are nothing but spectacular. How about this? In this county, there's not a single traffic light in the whole county. You got to love it. And when I leave you now, I'm going to walk down to the firehouse and visit the volunteer firemen because they make up so much of a part of so many American communities. I want to go say hi to them. And then I will see you next week somewhere in the world as we reconvene the Global Travel Update. In the meantime, check out Travel Detective when it runs. Of course, Hidden Beliefs coming up. And of course, this Saturday, Ion Travel, CBS. Check your local listings. Anthony, thank you for handling everything out in California for us. And we will see you next week.